Hey, this is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel. Let's have some fighting words. So in this video, I want to talk about Kati Taylor and her up-and-coming fight against Amanda Serrano. In my opinion, one of the best fights that is going to happen this year. Right off the back, let me just jump into this. Very seldom in this sport, in any combat sport, do you see two combatants fight at the perfect time or the right time. You don't. Or you don't see two individuals at the top of their game bringing it. You don't. You don't always see it. In fact, one person is always either past a little bit or whatever the case may be. Somebody's too young, somebody's too old, somebody has an injury, somebody's coming off an injury. It's always something along those lines. But with this fight right here, we have two of the best, hands down, bar none, two of the best, I'm talking not just best competing right now, but I'm talking about decorated. I'm talking about skills. I'm talking about resume. I'm talking about grit. I'm talking about boxing IQ. Amanda Serrano and Kati Taylor are that. So yes, this video is about Kati Taylor, but I have to give both of them their equal props and their equal respects. So without further ado, let's get it going. So the first thing that you notice when you see Kati Taylor is you see power. Like, that's what you see. You see power, power, power. Everything has got power on it. Everything, nothing is wasted. That's one of the things. Like, when I first saw Kati Taylor fight, I'm like, wow, she doesn't waste punches. And they're all power shots, but she's not wasting anything. That's the first thing that I saw. And I noticed when I saw Kati Taylor for the first time, that everything was power, but everything was precise. Everything had its own time. She uses a wider stance, in which case where she can really draw from that power. She's big on the hooks. You're not going to see Kati Taylor throw too much straight down the pike, but you're going to see hooks all day. You're going to see body shots all day. And that's one thing that you don't see a whole lot of women's boxing. You don't see like a ferocious body attack. You really don't. One thing I've always admired about female boxers are just their technicians. Are you going to see a lot of knockouts? No, but you're going to see perfect punches. You're going to see perfect footwork and placement. That's what you're going to see. You're going to see just perfect technique every time. When you look at women boxing, it's like looking at, I don't know, the guys at 106 pounds or something like that. Because it's more about speed and precision. It's not about power. Every once in a while, you get a few of those, but it's not about power. It's about correctness. And Kati Taylor is a pretty correct fighter. She's very ferocious, and it just looks like she's a brawler sometimes. But I'm like, have you seen this chick? She's not just brawling. What Kati Taylor is doing in the 9th round is what she's doing in the 1st round. So it's controlled aggression. Like I said, she has a really wide stance, so she can really get the most she can get out of those shots because she's fully twisting her torso. Those hooks are ferocious. What I like also when it comes to Kati Taylor is, sorry, I've been waiting to do a video on Kati Taylor, so I am a little jumpy about it. But one other thing that she does, which is really great, is she will attack the head and then she'll just sneak to the body, come back to the head. So, basically, you're always guessing. You don't know what you definitely know you're going to get something. Because Kati Taylor's up in your face, so you definitely know you're going to get, you just don't know where it's coming from. That's the problem. You don't know where it's coming from. And she knows how to really dig it up in there. So it's not necessarily a perfect, hook like this, but she's shoveling it in. So it's coming from an angle, but it's coming upward. And those punches are they're devastating. And I've seen what it does to women. And she's had opponents quit. She's had, literally turn their backs and be like, I don't need this. I always wanted to be a journalist anyway. I don't need this. Yeah. So it's kind of like Lomachenko in that way, how people would just quit. Be like, I'm not getting off this stool. Absolutely not. Katie Taylor has that same accolade to her name, where people will literally just quit mid-fight or just not get off the stool. One thing that she does, which is really great, well, it's a good thing, but it could also be a bad thing because she's fighting Amanda Serrano, is Katie Taylor will reset. So what she does is she'll do a flurry, and then she'll back off, reset. So she'll pop, 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 take a step back, and just analyze whatever, like basically to see how much damage did I really do before I continue. Like if I did a lot of damage, I'm going right back in. But if I didn't do too much damage, I'm I'm coming back in. I'm gonna press back in, but I'm not gonna be wild and reckless about it. I'm not gonna be, really damaging in my return. So, which is great when you want to take a step back and assess what you've done. However, now you have to remake up that ground that you've taken a step back from. So that's why I'm saying it could be a bad thing because you're fighting Amanda Serrano, who is a vet, who has 40 fights or something like that. She's no walk in the park, and she has not just started doing this yesterday like a lot of women have. Like she's an OG to this game. And for, Katie Taylor to do that step back. So I really like history. I like basically ancient battles and things like that. So the only way that I can compare this is the Huns. So basically say the Romans are right here. The Huns would run up close and fire off because they were horsemen, but on top of that, they were bowmen. They would fire off and then back up. So it depends on what the Romans do next. Are the Romans going to be like, let's go get them? Because it looks like they're running. They're not running. They just take a step back and then they turn around and they do it again. They're not running. They're just seeing how much damage was done before they continue. And that's literally what Katie Taylor does. She wants to see how much damage is done because you don't want to stay in the fire too long if you don't have to. Not to mention if you're the one who was first, which brings me to a next point. Katie Taylor, for the most part, is always first. She's always first. She always presses the action. She is the action when she's fighting. Hands down. She's always first. She's always in the center of that ring, or she's always backing somebody up. It's never the other way around. Which, again, this fight is going to be interesting because what happens when she backs up? I haven't really seen Katie Taylor back up other than the pullback after her flurries. I don't know if she can fight backing up, and I don't know how comfortable she'll be fighting backing up. These are questions that are going to have to be answered in this fight. I guess I'll save that for the Amanda Serrano video. But that's going to be interesting. One, to see Katie Taylor if she is forced to pull back. Although I do believe she definitely is more powerful than Amanda Serrano. I think when it comes to the power department, she's got Amanda beat. When it comes to the speed department, that's a little up in the air. I'm probably going to give that to Amanda. But it's probably by one hair or something like that. It's not going to be a lot of notches of speed, but I'm probably going to give that to Amanda. When it comes to cardio, I think both of them are probably going to be equal right there. That's another reason why this fight is going to be interesting because they match up really, really, really well. And it's hard to say who's better at this or who's better at that. The only clear thing that I have is who's more powerful, one punch power. Katie Taylor, hands down. Hands down. It's not even a question, And I'm really interested to see who's going to take the center of the ring. I'm really interested to see who's going to hold that real estate because both of them like to hold it and both of them like to dictate the pace of the fight. I guess I'll have to bring up another category. I would have to bring up grit. Now, I have not seen Amanda Serrano in the depth. I have seen Katie Taylor have to dig deep and just go for it. So, but because Amanda's a vet, I'm definitely going to give her the benefit of the doubt. However, I have seen Katie Taylor go into the deep and dig deep with a cut on her face and the whole nine, and she still got it done. So when the going gets thick and everything is going crazy, I know that she has it in her. She can dig deep and she can keep going. She can keep fighting. So it's just like these two match up so well. It's really hard to say. But Katie Taylor, that is going. Listen, she is a great fighter. She is a great fighter. And this fight, I'm so happy that this fight is happening because we don't see fights like this all the time. You don't see two people where they're in their prime, they're in their groove, they're feeling it. Every fight is their flow. You don't see that all the time. We have two people like that. But this is gonna be a good one, people. This is gonna be a good one. Do not miss this, because I really don't know with this one. It could go either way, and I do believe this is gonna go to the deep waters, which I think benefits both. I would definitely say she's so gritty. That's the only. So I don't really want to say too much because she's so gritty. But and when I mean gritty, I just simply mean that she has that grit where, all right, let's go. We got one round to go. Let's go. Or we're close on the scorecard. Let's go. Or I'm down 2 rounds. Let's go. She has that in her, and that is another thing that makes her dangerous. That makes her dangerous. And she will run across that ring and she will do what she has to do. And we've seen her do it. So those are my thoughts on the fight with Amanda Serrano and, of course, Katie Taylor. I will be doing a video for Amanda Serrano, so please check that out. And you know what I'm about to say. Drop your lines. Please like this video. Please share this video. And please subscribe to my channel.